Hello, this is Nefi, and in this video, I'm going to talk about the cardiac cycle. And this is my second video for the third unit. And to start, I'm going to teach you some anatomy, okay? So this is the heart, the left part of the heart. That's where we're going to focus for this video. And this part of the heart is named the atrium. Atrium. Okay. So we have the atrium here, we have the ventricle, and we have the aorta. Between the atrium and the ventricle, we'll have this structure named mitral valve, okay? And between the ventricle and the aorta, we're gonna have the aortic semilunar valve. Our goal with the cardiac cycle is to take blood from the aorta, from the atrium, sorry, to the ventricle, and from the ventricle to the aorta, that it can go to the rest of our body, okay? So this is gonna be assisted by depolarization and contraction, as I explained in the previous video. Remember that part. But the main contributor here is going to be pressure, okay? And most of this is going to be passive, okay? So pressure. And I have made this graph. Again, this is just for the left side of the heart, where you can see pressure in units of mm of mercury and milliliters, okay? This part is just for the ventricular volume, and I have here an electrocardiogram that you can follow what's happening, the polarization of the SA node and the contraction. So all those steps that I described in the previous video, you can also see them here in the electrocardiogram. So I'm going to attempt to say that for these first steps, we're going to have blood, volume, and pressure going to together to have that direct relationship. How's that going to work? So here, as you can see, this is a continuous graph. So, and it repeats here. We're going to have these mitral valve opening, okay? And this part of the diastole. Something to say, systole means contraction, diastole means relaxation of what? Of the ventricle. So when I say systole, I'm saying, oh, the contraction of the ventricle. When I say diastole, I'm talking about relaxation of the ventricle. So the mitral valve is going to open in the relaxation of the ventricle. And then we're going to see how the pressure in the atrial is going to start increasing. And also the ventricular pressure is going to increase as blood goes to the ventricle and it starts filling. So we increase our volume, okay? So that's our first step. We'll have the blood coming from here to here, to here. And then we're gonna see this valve closing, okay? This mitral valve is gonna close, and it has a characteristic sound that is really important in the healthcare, that is described as love, love, okay? So that's going to be the mitral valve closing. Okay, then we're going to start building pressure in the ventricle, but we're not going to change the volume, okay? So iso means the same, volumic means volume, and we're going to call this phase the isovolumic contraction, okay? So isovolumic contraction, because we are keeping the same volume, but we are increasing the pressure, okay? So pressure is going to start building up, building up, building up, and until the aortic valve opens, okay? So the aortic valve is going to start like increasing that pressure too. It's going to open, and then I have here something that's going to help you to understand this. I have a line. So it's like squeezing a lime. We're gonna squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. I'm gonna squeeze it a lot because I don't want to get dirty until the liquid starts coming out of it. So it's gonna be the same. So that liquid coming out is gonna be the same as the aortic valve opening. So then we're gonna see a lot of pressure increasing in the ventricle, but volume decreasing, because that volume is going to the aorta, okay? Then we're gonna see this part here. As you can see here, there's not like a lot of change of pressure in the atrium. We're gonna see like a small peak of pressure increasing, not that significant. And then pressure is gonna start dropping as the volume goes down. because again, it's like squeezing a lime. And then we reach this part named isovolumic relaxation. Okay. In isovolumic relaxation, again, we're gonna see a change of, of pressure, but not in volume. Then we're gonna have this part named the diotic notch that is related with the aortic valve closing. Okay, so here opens, here closes, and then this is gonna be characterized by a sound named lub dub. Okay, dub, and here lub. So those are gonna be the two main sounds of our heart: lub dub, lub dub, lub dub. And that means lub, mitral valve closes, dub, aortic valve opens. Okay, lub dub, lub dub. And how's that gonna work? So and I'm just gonna finish to explain this. And again, the mitral valve is gonna open again, and we're gonna see this volume increasing again, and then we're gonna repeat the cycles. Here are the different stages. We have the isovolumic contraction, ejections, that is what I said, volume going from the ventricle to the aorta. We have this isovolumic relaxation. We have this rapid flow, that's flow, I spell it wrong, flow, and we have that diastasis, this pressure, this moment of relaxation. And again, we're gonna start the atrial systole, atrial contraction, and the process is gonna start again. Okay, so blood and pressure, how's it gonna work? So we have blood coming here. Again, we have pressure increasing from here and pressure increasing here. There's going to be a point where the pressure in the ventricle is going to be higher than the pressure in the atrium. And this is going to be like a door, okay? Just a one-way door. Let me show you. So I have here a door. So if there's pressure coming here and I'm increasing the pressure here even more, at some point, this pressure is going to be like some strain that is going to close the door. So that's going to be the main reason of why we have this valve closing, the mitral valve, and that's some love. Okay, it's going to be the same with the aortic semilunar valve. Blood is going to go there, volume is going to increase, pressure is going to build up, and boop, it's going to close the mitral valve. So this is how it's going to work. So this is a graph, and again, you can see here the relationship of P, R, Q, R, S, T waves. Just as a review, P means the depolarization of the SN node and atrium that's going to cause contraction. Q is going to be the depolarization of the AV node, the bundle of His. Then in R, we're going to have this depolarization of the ventricle. And we're gonna, well, sorry, from this of the septum and the endocardium. S is gonna be the depolarization of the ventricle, and T is gonna be repolarization. And look at this. Can you see how they are related? So here we have this phase that is the atrial systole, atrial contraction, that is going to be related with a PQ wave. S and the R and S that is mostly related with the pericardium and myocardium, that ventricle contraction, mostly Q. And then, we see here an increase of pressure and a decrease of volume. So that means that we are having contraction, and T, depolarization. And that's the period where we have this rapid flow and we enter to diastasis, like that relaxation. Okay, so as you can see, depolarization, that contraction is going to be related. And I'm just going to show you before to finish. This is another graph that is pretty cool too, and this is just only for the left ventricle. Ventricle. Okay, so the left ventricle. And this graph, we're gonna have volume in the x-axis and pressure in the y-axis, and to see what's gonna happen. Okay, so we're gonna have first this ventricular filling, and as we can see, we have volume increasing. Okay, we're gonna call this preload. Preload is gonna be that volume that we need to let this semilunar valve to open. Okay, so we're gonna have this volume increasing, and then we have this preload, and then the mitral valve is gonna close. So, and this is like here, the mitral valve closes. We have this volume increasing. This part where the volume increases. And then we're gonna start building pressure, like squeezing the line, and we're gonna start this isovolumic contraction where the volume doesn't change, but the pressure, as you can see, goes really high. Then we're gonna open the semilunar valve, and then we're gonna have this ejection of blood. We have this change of volume again. Volume is gonna return to, like, it's gonna go down again. And then we have the semilunar valve closing in the diaodic notch, and volume is and pressure is gonna decrease. Volume is not gonna change. We call this isovolumic relaxation, and we repeat the cycle. Mitral valve opens. We form this preload. We have this, we call it ice afterload, that is the isovolumic contraction, and the contraction that we need. The afterload is like the pressure that we need to open the semilunar valve, and preload means the volume that we need to open the semilunar valve. So this is pretty much what we are looking at here, is what we see in these lines here and here, volume and pressure. It's pretty useful because the ventricle is going to play, the left ventricle is going to play an important role of the distribution of blood around the body. And that's pretty much it. Something else that is here in the graph that we cannot see, we have this called inotropy. Inotropy is going to be a relationship between the change of pressure and volume. And yeah, and this is going to be determined by the strain of the contraction of the ventricle. And yeah, and there are some things that are going to regulate that. That is going to be calcium. And this is going to be the topic for the next video. Something else, this is going to be dependent of the blood, like the flow of the blood to the heart. And this, the afterload, is going to be determined by our blood vessels, okay? Vasoconstriction, vasodilation. Of course, if we have a constricted vessel, we're going to need more, more strain to open it, to open this, the semilunar valve. So it has something to do with vasoconstriction and vasodilation. So that's pretty much it. And the next video, I'm gonna go more in deep on these topics of inotropy. And I hope you like it. This is my second video, and that's it. The cardiac cycle.